clash. Glen Lazarus, of course, playing for New South Wales. 12 Broncos in the Queensland lineup, including 2 off the bench. The lineup very steady, as it has been most of the season. Injuries haven't been a worry. LOCKYER, HANCOCK, RENOUF, CARROLL in the centres, Saylor, Walters and Langer. The forwards, a bit of a shuffle here. Andrew G and Shane WEBCKE, the starting prop forwards. John Driscoll, the hooker. Brad Thorn slots into the second row alongside Gorden, TALLIS, and Peter Ryan drops back to the bench with Glen Lazarus. I should say Peter Ryan drops back to lock with Glen Lazarus and Darren Smith on the bench.
Yeah, and also Anthony Mundine's on the bench as well, Warren, and what a player to have coming off the bench, a bloke of his class. And he's had a fair bit to say over the last couple of weeks, Choco Mundine, which has surprised me a little bit considering, well, I think I know the bloke pretty well, and I don't think it's his go to say some of those things about Laurie Daly and about Kevin Wallace. So he's put a bit of pressure on himself, Anthony Mundine. He's got to get out there and perform today with the Broncos if he gets a chance, and I'm sure he's hell-bent on doing that. But as I said, I mean, you can tell what sort of team you got when you got a bloke like Anthony Mundine on the bench. A pretty good situation to be in.
Well, if he's put pressure on himself, he's also putting pressure on Steve RENOUF and Tonie Carroll in the centres, and maybe even Kevin Walters at 5'8". Now, you're talking about 3 players playing for their state, playing very well currently. RENOUF coming back from injury, played great on Monday night.
And Kevin was the player's player on Monday night as well, and I thought he had a great game. So
they're all looking over their shoulder, and there's Mundine. So I think Wayne Bennett will be pretty happy about that situation. That's one reason they should fire today. Here come the Cowboys. Ian Roberts leading them out. John Lomax, his coach and many others believe, would have been a very good addition to the New Zealand team. He's been running into form. Ian Roberts really came out with all guns blazing when these teams met up in Townsville. CRESSBROOK at fullback. PHILLIPS, Mahon in the centres alongside Mark Shipway, Adam Warwick on the wing. We have the DUNEMANN brothers, 5'8½", Ian at 5'8", Andrew at halfback, and up front, very experienced, Roberts, Walters and Lomax, Peter Jones and Owen Cunningham in the second row, and Kyle Warren is the lock forward.
Well, that's their strength, obviously, isn't it, North Queensland, in their forward pack. Steve Weiler's back to his best, I thought, in the last couple of Tri-Series games. We'll just pause now for the national anthem.
With golden soil and well soil, always good I see. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's legends where every state
crowd in good voice, ready to cheer on the local heroes, the Brisbane Broncos. The referee is Tim Mander. There's not much breeze at all, the flag's very limp. Temperature probably around 23 degrees. Absolute hurler of a day in Brisbane. Pretty good conditions for a game of football. Ian DUNEMANN is 3 years older than Andrew, his brother. Ian playing at 5'8", Andrew at halfback today. One of the few times they've been alongside each other in a match this season. Tim Mander gets us underway. I watched the Broncos train yesterday morning and they all seem to be moving well. Shane WEBCKE had his knee strapped up, but that's been an ongoing problem for him. The rest look pretty good. Glen Lazarus suffering from a corked thigh, and Darren Smith has a couple of problems, but both on the bench and ready to go today. Andrew G, of course, played for the Queensland side at the beginning of the Tri-Series, and he'll be very determined to put forward a good performance. Brad Thorn takes it up to the 40. Gorden TALLIS now. On the halfway, the field is a picture. The surface looks magnificent. Darren LOCKYER kicks high, down the centre of the field. Well taken by CRESSBROOK. Wasn't under a lot of pressure. Warwick goes into dummy half. Runs into John Driscoll pretty quickly. TALLIS monstering them to ground, forcing them back a couple of metres.
Yeah, he showed signs of his best, Gorden TALLIS, I thought, in both the second and third tri-series games, and that'll be very pleasing for Wayne Bennett. All the Broncos supporters. He had a slow start at the Broncos, but starting to get back to his rampaging best.
He just hasn't hit his straps this season at club level. That kick is out on the full from DUNEMANN. That's a bad mistake, one they didn't want to make early in the game.
Yeah, I'm sure Tim Sheens would have said first up, get in there, get a feel for the game, don't do anything silly, don't turn the ball over. The first chance they get a kick, they put it out on the full.
Just on Gorden TALLIS, I think he has had a number of niggling injuries, ankle injuries, so on, that he's finally might be shaking off now. And he didn't make a big deal about them, but they're obviously hampering him earlier in the season. Here's Andrew G shouldering TALLIS out of the road. Well tackled though by Kyle Warren and Steve Walters. WEBCKE runs into Cunningham and LOMAX. LOMAX, a player who always bruises you when he puts you down. Langer shoots it out to LOCKYER, cutting through beautifully. LOCKYER 20 out, looks inside for support. Kevin Walters arrived just a fraction too late. The tackler, Andrew DUNEMANN, getting hold of him just in time. That's a handover. And they got just a little bit too excited with the break and didn't make the best use of the last play.
Yeah, we're disappointed with that. Went for the inside ball to Peter Ryan, Alf, and they did have numbers. There's a drop ball from the Cowboys, a turnover to the Broncos. Here's a real opportunity, Warren.
DRISCOLL, Langer with the numbers out there. They kept on going, they held their ground, they didn't come up at him. 20 out. Plenty of tackles here for the Broncos up their sleeve. RENOUF. Second game back from a broken jaw. WEBCKE cuts back in behind the play the ball, sucks some defence back into the ruck area. Three of them put him on the ground and roll him back. Langer with the back set. TALLIS runs off Walters. Good tackle by Kyle Warren, slowed TALLIS down. 15 out. Kevin Walters, THORN. Still only 12 out, last tackle, they go right. Langer with Mander, burn out wide. Back inside comes LOCKYER. Throws it, keeps it alive. On the ground for the Cowboys, and the Cowboys have got it through Peter Jones, clearing it away up to the 30.
Scrappy stuff on the fifth tackle again from the Broncos. Elf once again electing to pass the ball instead of kicking. And in the end, Darren Lockyer got held up and just saw a speculator. The Cowboys came up with it. So two plays, but they just haven't come up with the right option, the Broncos.
The Broncos love to work the angles. You see the total tackles already. North Queensland called on to defend. They love to work the angles, the Broncos, but I'm not sure the pass from Langer to Lockyer cutting back in was the way to go. They had plenty of men standing wide on the right.
Fifth tackle, that close to the line, put it in the air. Every time, put it in the air, I reckon.
DUNEMANN over the top to LOMAX.
Especially when you've got blokes like Wendell who's 6'8", and Brad THORN, who's 6'9".
Andrew DUNEMANN kicking over to Saylor.
Well, maybe not that tall, but close.
The chasers are down there on Wendell Saylor, not far from the touchline either. Scott Mahon and Warwick. Warwick is penalised. Holding on in the tackle after a good chase. They've wasted their effort.
Well, isn't that a heartbreaker, Warren? You get a good kick in, you get a good set of six, then you put a good kick in, you get Brisbane down on their own 20-metre line, and you give away a penalty. Heartbreaking stuff.
A little bit of inexperience on the part of Adam Warwick. He's only 19.
I was reading in the Super League magazine, Warren, where his hero's been Michael Hancock since he was a kid, so he's up against Mick today. They're not marking each other on the field, but he'll probably get a chance to come up against him, and he'll find out what a player he is.
As Hancock unloads nicely to Peter Ryan, breaking free. Inside Cowboys territory by 10 metres, it's Langer. Cut down by Jones and lost possession. It's a solid tackle. Langer always thinking about the pass. Cowboys ball.
There he is, the little bloke. It was just a great tackle from Peter Jones, nothing more. Just took his hands away from where he was carrying the ball. I don't know, Warren, whether he's always thinking, Alf, but I think a lot of the way he plays games instinctive. I don't think he thinks a lot, actually. I just think he does it.
Well, I mean, that's the way a lot of champions do play, don't they? They just, as you say, instinct, but they do it so well all the time, and sometimes the more they think, the worse they go.
Yeah. I think Alf's definitely in that category. I think the more he thinks about his game, the more he struggles. But he gets out there and plays, and he's one of the best ever, I reckon.
Ian Roberts hobbling after taking that tackle, and the ball's down.
Well, Steve Renouf, the Pearl, just batting the ball down. I suppose you've got to wonder, whether it's worth doing that, because basically there's no way in the world you're going to get the ball. You're not going to pick up the intercept.
Get your formation, fellas.
There's Ian Roberts getting tackled by Ian Roberts. And then they play the ball. He just batted the ball down. It's always going to be a knock-on. You give him 6 to go. So I've got to question whether it's worth having a go at doing that. But he's done it now, and they've got to defend.
Scott Mahon is the first receiver from the scrum. He's wearing the gloves again, even on a warmer day. Obviously they're good. Well, he's taken a liking to them, hasn't he? He might cut the fingers out of them, do a Michael Jackson. 20 metres out. Warren plays it out. It goes from Ian Dunemann to Andrew Dunemann. Wide passes. Lomax centre field. Kevin Walters couldn't hold him. Neither of them can hold him. Lomax almost all the way. Also missed by Ryan. CRESSBROOK can't get away from dummy half. Last tackle coming up, 5 metres out. Chance for the Cowboys. Up it goes from Ian Dunemann. Into the end goal. It's a good kick. The chase is coming through. And Darren LOCKYER knocks it dead. Diffuses the bomb.
Oh, great bust from big Johnny Lomax. As you said, Warren, he's coming back to his best now. He's a great player for the Canberra Raiders. When he was on the paddock, here he goes. Kevy Walters is there. He's just a turnstile. Peter Ryan can't hold him, and he's a great defender normally, Peter Ryan. Johnny Lomax pulled down just a little short. And there he is, Darren LOCKYER, just diffusing that bomb, batting it over the dead ball line. So they'll get another set of 6. The Cowboys, they're looking pretty good, aren't they?
They're playing solid football at the moment. If they cut out the 1 or 2 mistakes, that kick out on the full a while back, for example, they'd be really taking it to the Broncos. John Lomax started the season a little slowly and then had a brief suspension. And like Quentin Ponga, as longer the season goes on, the 2 Kiwis, former Canberra players, are really hitting their straps. Ian Roberts seems okay after that worry a few moments ago. He loses it and it's dived on. Claims it was stripped. RENOUF diving on the loose ball, and Roberts is not happy. G with the ball for the Broncos.
There's the possession. Brisbane 51%, North Queensland 49%, so pretty even. And Brisbane spent a little bit more time down their own end than the North Queensland Cowboys, but the Cowboys, if that keeps up, they'll want to point points.
Here he goes, Carroll. Here he goes again. Over the 30. He's sprinting away from the pass down from Hancock, though. Might have been just a little low. It looked as if Tony Carroll was going to do exactly what he'd done last Monday night from 60 metres out. He was going away from them at first.
Here he goes, a great little pass from Alfie, just a short one. Have a look at him, he's a rampaging bull warren, this bloke. I tell you, he takes his shirt, his bet's got a chest like a 44-gallon drum. Just a pass back on the inside was a little bit ordinary to Mickey Hancock, couldn't hold it, but he's going to be a great player, this Tony Carroll.
Bad luck for Hancock because he positioned himself to perfection. So a try bombed by the Broncos after a great pass by Carroll. Cunningham now. He rips them through. Almost going all the way down to the 10. Cowboys right on the attack once more here. Dunemann to his brother Ian. Scott Mahon a little flat-footed though. Warwick taken by Kevin Walters, lost it.
Forward's on forward. Not for the pass, and the ball's just gone forward. 4 tackles, only a scrum. Yeah, a little one there, Steve. The ball went forward, mate.
Well, there you heard it. Adam Warwick, the young fellow, once again trying to
Broncos
push a pass here. It was never really on. Comes up with the drop ball. Broncos get the loose in the feed. There you go, 3-1 in the line break department, and it's not surprising with the amount of strike power the Brisbane Broncos have got. Here's the man there, Wendell gets rid of the ball to Mickey Hancock.
And SHIPWAY with a good tackle. Diving at the ankles, and Hancock just ready to fly down the touchline. Now, Saylor involved but loses it. Jolted out of his arms. Early tackle mistake by the Broncos. Puts them under pressure on their own 30 here. TALLIS. Powerful tackle on Kyle Warren. Roberts heads towards centre field. He doesn't lift his knees very high, Ian Roberts, these days, but he still makes good ground.
No wonder he's got that much strapping on him. They must weigh a couple of 100 kilos each, his legs.
He's handicapped. Steve Walters, Shipway, nice pass. Phillips loses it in the tackle.
We're still a fourth tackle. And I call play, okay?
Both teams frustrated with the drop ball. Warren Smith is on the sideline with us. Warren, what do you make of the intensity of the Broncos from close quarters?
Well, they seem to be a little bit softer than they usually are. Soft might not be the right word, but I think at this stage of the game, with the temperature being as warm as it is, Wayne Bennett might have already gone to his bench in normal circumstances, but the fact that Glen Lazarus and Darren Smith are probably his fresh reserves, and they came out of Monday night's tri-series final a little bit sore after what was a mammoth game. I'm sure he's reluctant to put them into the fray this early on.
Yeah, you're right, he'd be saving them as long as he can. Kevin Walters is cut down. Good tackle from Shipway. Shipway and Phillips working well on the left-hand side after the early bust by Carroll. Now they're starting to keep the Broncos a little quieter. They will be worried knowing that... great tackle! Great tackle by Roberts. He clubbed WEBCKE to ground. Lockyer with a kick down the centre. Bounces away from CRESSBROOK. He was perfectly positioned, but it was an awkward bounce for him. RENOUF tackles well.
I'll have a look at this one. Ian Roberts on Shane WEBCKE. There it is. That's as good as you get, ladies and gentlemen. Kawaka!
That's embarrassing, isn't it? When you think you're a big tough front row and you get belted like that. Tackles have evened up now. Total tackle counts. Cowboys on halfway. Owen Cunningham slips away nicely to Shipway. Andrew to Ian DUNEMANN. Jones running onto the ball in centre field. Well tackled by Kevin Walters, who's got a few running at him in this game so far. Ian DUNEMANN with a kick ahead, rebounding. Kyle Warren's got it. Still a tackle to go. Not six more. No one played at it from the Broncos. Up it goes from Andrew DUNEMANN. Very high. Lockyer coming forward, goes for it. Might have been pushed. The Cowboys have got it. Play on, and DUNEMANN's in for a try. Andrew DUNEMANN runs onto the pass from Ian Roberts. Try awarded, though. I'm sure we'll have another look at the take of the bomb from Darren Lockyer and see whether he was nudged before he got the ball in his hands. But play went on, and Ian Roberts getting the pass away to DUNEMANN.
Well, here it is here. Darren Lockyer goes high for the ball. Well, I think it was a Broncos bloke that he ran. It was a Broncos bloke he ran into, so that's cool. That's no problem at all. Ian Roberts does a great little round the corner pass to DUNEMANN, who goes in under the post. He kicked at DUNEMANN, so he's done a good job, as has Ian Roberts to be there. Here's Darren Lockyer. Now, I don't know who that is. Is it John Driscoll, I think it is, he runs into? Got in his road. He was trying to protect him. He was doing the right thing, but he just got in the road. Darren Lockyer comes up with the spill. Roberts and DUNEMANN do the rest. That's a good try to the Cowboys. They've been down here for a while now. They'd expect to come away with some points. Ian Roberts came up with a massive hit on Shane WEBCKE, lifted his side, and then he comes up with exactly the right play for that try.
Luke Phillips right in front of the posts. And he converts the try, just the start that North Queensland needed on the scoreboard. They lead the Broncos 6-0. It was a great bomb from Andrew DUNEMANN, high.
Well, there it is. Johnny Driscoll got in his right. Looked like he tackled him really, but obviously he didn't. Ian Roberts here.
A great pass.
It was a great pass from Ian Roberts. I mean, that's the Ian Roberts of old. That's the Ian Roberts that really made his name doing that sort of thing. Great ball control. Great ability to get those round the corner passes away.
As the bomb came down, the man I was looking at was Reggie CRESSBROOK. He did push, but I'm sure he pushed after the ball had touched Lockyer, so there was nothing wrong with that.
Warren, I mentioned how tough the Broncos have done it in the recent tri-series. Well, Tim Sheens is the first to go to his interchange bench. Both Ian Roberts and Owen Cunningham have come from the field in the fresh reserves. 27 Glen Murphy has gone on, and 17 Luke Scott as well.
You've got to remember, as Glen Lazarus warms up, so he'll be coming into the fray soon. North Queensland haven't played for 3 weeks, so they should be fresh as they could hope to be. The Broncos, as a club, haven't played for a few weeks, but of course they've been lining up for rep games. Tony Carroll frustrated. There's Anthony Mundine. When will he be thrown into the game? Oh, WEBCKE comes in to get one back. And it was a welcoming committee for Luke Scott. Just come onto the field and he suddenly got Shane WEBCKE right in his face.
Well, let's have a look at it again. Luke Scott just cops a beauty from Shane WEBCKE. Whatever Ian Roberts can do, I can do better.
Murphy. 40 metres out. Poor pass slows them down. Andrew DUNEMANN now accelerates. The Broncos were waiting though. The Broncos hadn't come up. They held their line, which is a good thing, but they weren't moving very fast on the last tackle. Up it goes from Ian DUNEMANN again. Midfield high for LOCKYER. He takes it well. CRESSBROOK went flying through the air to make it more difficult. Quickly away now to CARROLL with HANCOCK outside. CARROLL goes himself. He realised that PHILLIPS was marking up on HANCOCK, decided that the pass wouldn't gain anything. HANCOCK might have fancied his chances also, all the same. Now it's Andrew G. Swung to ground by Jones and Murphy. WEBCKE off, Lazarus on. Kevin Walters. Swung backwards, stays alive for a moment. 6-0 to the Cowboys midway through the first half. Here's Lazarus. 104 minutes. Sorry, Morris.
Sorry, Warren. Darren Smith has come on also. He's replaced Brad Thorn as well. So both fresh interchange players coming on for the Broncos.
As the pass goes through Darren Smith and forward.
Bit of a rocket pass there from Alf to Darren Smith. They just haven't got it right at the moment, the Broncos. They're forcing things a little bit. Haven't got into their rhythm. Let's give some of the North Queensland players a rap for that. They've been up in their faces all game, playing plenty of enthusiasm, and the Broncos just finding it a little bit difficult to get a bit of space.
Ball moved out to SHIPWAY and now to Luke Phillips, shown the sideline by HANCOCK. Brisbane 6 errors, North Queensland 4. The Broncos handling just a little sloppy. Glen Murphy cuts back in and beats a tackle. He shoved off G. Need to improve that passing though. A couple of slow passes coming out in the direction of Phillips that time. Now they swing it from left to right though to Jones. RENOUF looking for the intercept. 6 more tackles. Luke Scott. Tackle 28 metres out in centre field. The Cowboys with plenty of possession now. Warren knocked to ground, 20 out. Again a poor pass coming out from that dummy half region. Glen Murphy, LOMAX. Tony Carroll all over him like a rash. SHIPWAY goes blindside to DUNEMANN, Andrew DUNEMANN. Knocked to ground by DRISCOLL. LOMAX given plenty of space, almost goes to the line. Buried eventually in the corner by 3 players. Carroll, HANCOCK and DRISCOLL all got there in cover.
Well, he backed himself, didn't he, Johnny Lomax? He thought he could get there, put the head down hard as he could. And that's a knock on. He's gone to the 20-metre line for a tap, but that should have been a scrum 10 metres out to the Broncos.
Darren Smith twists around, tackled by Glen Murphy. Broncos spending plenty of time on their own side of halfway at the moment. Lazarus lifted, dumped just over the halfway line.
Well, they definitely need to play at their 6 here, the Broncos.
Carroll running the angle off Walters. DRISCOLL floated one to Langer. Now G looking to short pass off to Ryan. Gets it away now to Smith. 40 metres out, 5th tackle. Langer tries the little one, but LOMAX is hanging back there. He hadn't moved up. Lomax anticipating.
Great work from John Lomax. We all know Allan has got the most lethal short kicking game in rugby league. And there he goes. He tries one through, the little fella gets squashed. Johnny Lomax comes up with the crumbs.
DUNEMANN goes down the blind side, tackled by the diving Ryan. They cross back into the Broncos half. Murphy, very involved since coming off the bench, doing plenty of work. DUNEMANN has to go for a long one out to SHIPWAY. Didn't seem to be a lot of purpose in it. CARROLL just gets hold of SHIPWAY though. A couple of times they've moved the ball left across the backs without really doing a lot with it. On the last, the kick for the line is a good one. Forces the Broncos back. Ian DUNEMANN, very classy all-round player.
Yeah, both him and his brother can play okay. No worries about that. Ian's played a lot more first grade up there, I think, than Andrew. And obviously Ian, the younger of the two. Well, there it is. The Broncos spent plenty of time in their own half. In fact, 60% compared to North Queensland's 40. So Cowboys had a distinct advantage as far as field position has gone in this match. They've only come up with the one try.
Can the Broncos look for this solid set of 6 this time? They don't go anywhere that time. DRISCOLL well tackled. Now Lazarus bustles his way over the 30. G keeps it motoring. Gets it back to LOCKYER. DRISCOLL backs up nicely. Good work from the hooker. I'm sure Andrew G is working a lot more on getting a pass away than he used to. Darren Smith. No way through. 5th tackle. They're 40 metres out once again. On the blind is Kevin Walters. Kick rebound. Still on the last as LOCKYER picks it up. Gets the call. The bomb's not a good one. Didn't have much time to adjust. And caught by Ian DUNEMANN on his 30. So the kick only went 10 metres. Interesting that DUNEMANN decided to go for it. Some players would let it bounce.
Well, they just haven't got it right on the 5th tackle, Brisbane. I think that's 4 times now they've come with ineffectual kicks. Not going to the right bloke or Alf deciding to pass. They're just struggling at the moment, Brisbane. They can't quite put it together. The Cowboys, well, they're loving this. There's a penalty. Laying on the tackle player.
Glen Lazarus hanging on to Luke Scott's legs too long. Cunningham comes back out, and so does Roberts.
And interestingly, it was Scott Mahon who came from the field, and Johnny Lomax is also getting a breather from Tim Sheen, so a reshuffle in the back line for the North Queensland Cowboys.
Looks like Kyle Warren's gone out into the centres. DUNEMANN gets it to Cunningham. Kyle Warren did have some time with Manly in Sydney and then played at Toowoomba last year. Playing in the forwards today, but is, at least in the past, more of a fullback come winger. Another poor pass. That's the one area of the Cowboys game that really has to be looked at. They're passing from dummy half and in and around the ruck area, getting it wide. It's very poor. Murphy on the burst, running inside. Thorn tackling well, but he got it away. DUNEMANN floats it to Jones. Had the feeling that Broncos really have to hold on here. Luckily for them, it's the last tackle coming up. DUNEMANN hooks it back. There's a chaser. CRESSBROOK was after that ball. Copped a shove.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Tim Mander, he got that right.
CRESSBROOK would very nearly have scored, I reckon.
Okay.
Well, let's have a look at Reggie CRESSBROOK. Well, he's offside for a start, but he was taken out. Kevin Wallace, I think, was the man. No, Brad Thorn it was, took him out, gave him a shoulder.
That's Brad, isn't it? It is Brad. Okay, thanks, mate. Mate, a little bit closer. We might even order a penalty try, okay? But you took the man out, okay?
They had missed the fact that CRESSBROOK looked a touch offside from the kick.
You'd be dirty if you ordered a penalty try on that.
Oh, yeah, that's all it.
Well, they have to be absolutely sure a try would be scored. Give the penalty try. You don't see it very often, do you?
No, you don't. I think he was just trying to scare him a little bit, don't you think?
Put the wind up him. And the Cowboys decide to go for the 2 points, even though the Broncos looked on the rack. Could have had a set of 6 at them, but this is close to the post. It's a bankable 2, you'd think, from Luke Phillips. 61% for the season. Just to the right of the post. And it's between the sticks. So North Queensland, 13 minutes before half-time, are leading 8-0. Frown on the face of Wayne Bennett. Chris Johns alongside him. Wayne Bennett's thinking, this is another one of those games that we have to play after representative encounters. Remember a few weeks back when they played Adelaide, finally beat them 20-10, but they gave the Rams every chance of winning that game, the Broncos, after a representative match.
Yeah, the thing about the Broncos, but Warren, is they can be playing badly like this now, and all of a sudden RENOUF or Walters or Sailor or Hancock or Lockyer or Langer does something brilliant. They're back in the game.
Makes for an interesting encounter though with the Cowboys. Tails will be up, leading 8-0. Can take this lead to the half-time break, and Tim Sheens can have another word with them. It'll really be a very exciting match, this. Hancock brings it back towards centre field. Thorn. One thing though, it won't go to extra time.
They'll be happy about that, I'd imagine, the players.
There's WEBCKE trying to keep going forward, but he can't against Robertson Cunningham. LAZARUS takes the ball, almost handed to him by DRISCOLL. So close was he to the play-the-ball area. Langer kicks deep. This may be the best tactic they can use. Just put it down the other end. See if the Cowboys can get through sets without mistakes. CRESSBROOK rounded up nicely. Kevin Walters' chase was good. Peter Ryan was down there too. Phillips can't get away from the grasping Thorn. Warwick was a Bronco under 19, joining North Queensland this year. Roberts. Seems a long time ago he was playing for South Sydney. Luke Scott. Making ground, but only slowly this time. Steve Walters does a bit better, up to the 40. WEBCKE copped one in the mouth accidentally.
They both did.
Steve Walters hurt. Lockyer has some room to move. He is slippery. And chances his arm, giving it back to Darren Smith. A little risky, but Smith picks up 10 metres. Sailor. Oh, good pass, and Darren Smith just dropped it. And then tripped over. Wendell Sailor deserved a better result for his effort. Oh, Brad Thorn over the top as Smith went underneath. And Roberts copped the lot. Brisbane making too many errors, 7-4. Murphy taken by WEBCKE and Thorn. Thorn making plenty of tackles. Brad Thorn right up there among the Broncos' best in hit-up rates and tackles for the season. So he's an all-round worker. The Cowboys going wide. Phillips comes back in looking for support. He finds CRESSBROOK, but there's nowhere to go. The Broncos surrounding them. 30 metres out on the 5th tackle. Why not try the bomb again? Well, DUNEMANN decides to run, rebounds, play on, still on the last. Luke Scott puts a kick up. Knocked back by the kicker himself. Scott still play on. Yet another kick on the 3rd attempt. Through it goes, and Lockyer takes it on the full in the in-goal area. They ran out of chances.
Well, they had 3 goes there, didn't they, the Cowboys, and they couldn't come up with the right option on either one. Here goes Wendell Sailor. Just got to get a set of 6 here, Brisbane. They need a good, steady, solid set of 6 and a nice kick on the end. Let's get back into rhythm a little bit. They've dropped too much pill down their own end. They've been tackling for what seems an absolute eternity in this first half.
Well, Darren Smith doesn't look 100%. He's carrying an elbow and a knee injury, and he really doesn't seem to be running freely or reacting quickly. LAZARUS carrying a cork thigh into the game. He's making the effort, but he looks a little tired as well. Walters looks good, so does RENOUF. CARROLL finds some space. One tackle to go for the Broncos. Langer to Lockyer, intended for Lockyer, and it goes astray. Jones gets it away to Kyle Warren, sprinting downfield. Tackled by Darren Smith. Good tackle. Found himself back in cover and he had to make it. Once again, can you believe it, from dummy half it goes nowhere.
You were in the back, mate. You were in the back. You came in the play there, you were in the back. How you were, mate?
Seems to be against Gorden TALLIS.
Well, here he's Alfie again. To Darren Lockyer, just went over his shoulder. Picked up by the Cowboys. Peter Jones does a great little ball there.
And Luke Phillips.
Kyle Warren it was there, getting tackled by Darren Smith, and from that ensuing play, the ball, the Broncos caught up inside the 10. So Luke Phillips will have another shot at goal.
Once again, they elect to take the shot for penalty goal, although this is harder. 13 metres in from touch, only 23 metres out. Very kickable once again for Phillips. But electing not to run the Broncos around a little more inside their own 20. Tim Sheen's happy to go to 10-0 if he can here just before half-time.
Yeah, it's not great. Easily clean off.
2 from 2 so far for Phillips. This one just shaves the upright, misses. Score remains 8-0 to North Queensland. 7 minutes before the break.
The moisture, because it's sweaty.
The Broncos in no hurry. And here referee Tim Mander having some problems with his communications and saying there's a bit of sweat in the ear by the sound of it affecting the system. It just shows that it is pretty warm out there. Only forecasting 22 degrees, but it does feel a little warmer.
I think it's nice and cool up here in this air-conditioned broadcast box, right?
Oh, I was getting a suntan when we were down on the sideline before, though.
To do it, bud.
DUNEMANN shovels off to Peter Jones. Has been prominent in attack and defence.
Yeah, big raps on Peter Jones from Stephen Wilders. Thinks he is a fine player.
Andrew DUNEMANN to Glen Murphy. Luke Phillips finds himself in the centres. SHIPWAY outside him that time. Murphy goes again. Kick rebounds. That's happened a few times in this match. Up it goes again on the last. Lockyer forward and snaps it out of the air. Good work by Darren Lockyer. Very nearly got away.
Oh, he's a class act, this young fella at the fullback position for the Broncos. Darren Lockyer. Here he goes. Mickey Hancock.
The bucking Broncos.
Look at him go. Oh, he's mad, isn't he?
They should just put him in pubs. $5 to sit on his shoulders for a minute. Against Owen Cunningham. This is what the Broncos needed, a penalty, a little bit of possession.
Oh, he didn't push him down at all. Alfie milked that one and did a good job too.
Actually, it was Steve Walters, the tackler. As you say, he may have had nothing much to do with it. So the Broncos, a rare excursion down to the Cowboys' end of the field with the ball. 5 tackles up their sleeve as Grebke plays it. Ryan almost stepped around Lomax.
There's been no penalties here.
Langer. TALLIS breaks away from the tackle. Still going. Got out of the grasp of Murphy. Up to the 10. Kevin Walters. Langer. LAZARUS steams forward. Good run by Glen LAZARUS. Only 5 out now. Play switch. Kevin Walters called for it. Can't get it away though. 1 to go. 10 out. Langer goes back up the middle with a little kick, and CRESSBROOK read it well. Dived forward, covers it up, and shuts it down.
Well, they get excited when they look like they're going to score a try, but went to the right to Kevin Wallace, and Alfie was set on the left. And then once again, the kick wasn't a good one from Alf.
Well, they've tried the short kick a number of times like this, and it hasn't worked for them. The Cowboys are waiting for it.
Yeah, well, he was under a fair bit of pressure there, Warren. He was going to go for the kick towards Wendell Salo's wing, but the Cowboys got up in his face and forced him back on the inside, and he really had no alternative but to go for the little rubber kick. But they've got to get better set and get those kicks away.
Mark a square, Alf.
Fifth tackle. Cowboys are playing out their sets. Oh, DUNEMANN hit by Ryan as he kicked. He's still down. It may have been a little high. Probably was okay in terms of whether it was late, but only just. DUNEMANN's up now. Andrew DUNEMANN on the wrong end of that Peter Ryan charge.
Well, there he is. Gets rid of the kick there.
Oh. Elbow looked like it was creeping up towards the neck, didn't it?
There's a chance.
Away they go down the line. Sprinting clear. This is DRISCOLL. It can't be DRISCOLL, but it is. Flying down the touchline. What a run from the hooker. In fact, is it DRISCOLL? It is DRISCOLL. I can't believe it. It was running like a winger. Thought DeVere must have come on.
Oh, didn't he show some toe for a hooker? You're right.
Scott, fellas.
Great little play from the Broncos here. They just had numbers. Steve RENOUF draws the winger, gets it away to Johnny DRISCOLL. I don't know what he's doing out there on the wing, but across comes the cover. They can't catch him there, but Scotty Mahan's the man, or is it? No, Andrew DUNEMANN, the man who was hitting that tackle from Peter Ryan, comes across in cover and bumbles DRISCOLL into touch.
Bumbles? Or bundles?
Okay, just wait.
What a great tackle. But that has cost John DRISCOLL. That's cost John DRISCOLL his life.
They go early lock, stay in there, Darren.
A 60-metre try for a hooker down the touchline. He would never, ever have stopped talking about it.
Cannot be onside, Gorden. Cannot be onside.
Scrum penalty goes the Cowboys' way. To the penalties to the Cowboys. Adam Warwick standing in front of Owen Cunningham as he took that tap. The referee had his back to the winger. Otherwise it would have been a scrum. Roberts.
Come back.
LOMAX. Nicely off to Scott.
Come on, get away.
Bronco defence equal to the task, Bo. Ryan and G there. Well, there are 5 blokes trying to run down a 5-metre corridor. It's pretty crowded there. Ian DUNEMANN to Murphy. Don't seem to be seeing a lot of Steve Walters. He's off the field at the moment. Hancock gathers it in. It was an awkward one. It could have bounced anywhere. Phillips quickly tackles him.
Warren, as the Broncos hit it out from their own red zone here. Ian Roberts may be about to come from the field. He's back on his feet now, but he really was groggy after a heavy hit from Andrew G in that last set of 6 for the Cowboys. Scott Mander has come to the touchline, but I think Roberts is going to stay on there until half-time with just 20 seconds to go.
Wendell Sailor almost breaks through, playing momentarily as a centre with RENOUF outside him. DRISCOLL twists away from Murphy. Not long to go. Last flurry from the Broncos just before half-time. LOCKYER well tackled. That was SHIPWAY coming in at the rate of knots to knock him down. Langer. Time running right out on them, and away goes Ryan. Upfield goes DRISCOLL again. Puts the kick ahead. Tackled after. Here comes RENOUF. Warwick watches it go over the touchline, and he's glad it did, because Steve RENOUF and Wendell Sailor were coming at a rate of knots, and that's half-time. The Broncos nearly hit back just on the half-time break, and they would dearly have loved to have put some points on the board, because a morale-boosting first 40 minutes to North Queensland.
Yeah, well, I thought that there's Johnny DRISCOLL there. He can't quite position his outside men, so he goes for the kick under pressure on Reggie CRESSBROOK, and the kick just a little bit too long, goes into touch, but I thought the pass to Peter Ryan was a little bit marginal as well.
This is what happened to Ian Roberts. As Warren Smith told us, Andrew G comes in and got a forearm jolt to the chest.
Big swinging arm, really, wasn't it?
If it did take his head, as Warren said, he was a little groggy, so we presume it did, but Andrew G Pretty uncompromising customer, but so too is Ian Roberts, and he'll be back for the second, particularly as captain. He'll be really revving up the troops along with Tim Sheens at half-time for a big second half, because they'll be thinking the Broncos are only going to get more tired. They're not going to get fresher as this game goes on. So many of them played 104 minutes last Monday night, as the dressing room seen. As we haven't seen Anthony Mundine on the field. That's unusual in itself.
Well, he's a replacement player, Anthony Mundine. Therefore, if he comes on, he comes on to permanently replace somebody, whereas Glen, Lazarus and Darren Smith are obviously the two interchange players.
Chris Johns handing out drinks to the players. So at half-time, we very much have a game on our hands, and it possibly could be an upset yet, with North Queensland leading Brisbane 8 points to 0.
You're watching Super Sunday on Fox Sports 2.
Hang on to that ball, use it as well as we know they can. They're still going to be very difficult to hold in this second half.
Well, I mean, Cameron said it in the break there, and, you know, well done, Cameron. You spotted that well. 38% of the possession to the Broncos, 62 to the Cowboys, and they're only up by 8 points. So that would be disappointing as far as Tim Sheens is concerned. If the Broncos can get back to, I mean, if they get up to 45% or even 50% of the possession, they'll win this game. There's simply no doubt about that, because they've got the strike power. As you said, Warren, 5 line breaks to 2. That is a telling statistic. Considering when you look at the fact that the Broncos have only had the ball for 38% of the time, and the ball that they have had has been at the wrong end of the field. I mean, they've had the ball bringing it out from their own goal line on 10-15 occasions in that first half. So they'll be looking to get a little bit more quality possession, a little bit better field position, and put some pressure back onto the North Queensland Cowboys, who I think in this second half will come out quite confident, but if they get the same sort of possession in the second half, they'll have to start looking at scoring some more points. And, you know, on 2 occasions they went for the 2 points instead of going for the tries. On 1 occasion they converted, on the other they didn't. Maybe they should have gone for the tries. They did have the Broncos on the rack. The players would be tired. They've been sick of tackling. So
we're just waiting for the Cowboys to come out, and the football manager from the Broncos, Chris Johns, is with us. Chris, what did Wayne Bennett say to the boys?
Good afternoon. I'm very impressed, Jacko. I'm surprised you knew 38% and 62 added up to 100.
Obviously, you haven't had a drink this afternoon, you wouldn't know.
Remember Sam Bacco never did.
Wayne's very concerned, as Peter was just alluding to, the actual ball control, and we're not finishing our sets of 6 and putting the Cowboys under any pressure. We're really giving them a piggyback into this game. He wants that fixed up in this second half, and if we can do that, we're very confident we can go on with a win.
How are the boys physically, Johnsy? They looking a little tired?
They are very tired at the moment, Peter. As you know, it's a mammoth game they were involved in with that Tri-Series game, and I think you'll see John Plath and Anthony Mundine probably in the next 10 minutes.
And who do you think he'll replace, Anthony Mundine?
I'm not sure. I think Wayne's playing by ear, but in the next 10 minutes he'll be on the field, so it's good to see him back after that long layoff, and hopefully he can get a fresh set of legs on there.
Of the Broncos, who's really feeling the pinch, do you feel?
Well, the bigger forwards, obviously, like Brad Thorn and Shane WEBCKE and Glen Lazarus. I think Shane WEBCKE is playing sensational at the moment, and but those bigger forwards are definitely getting a bit tired at the moment.
Okay, thanks for joining us, Chris.
Thank you.
Chris Johns from the Broncos. The Cowboys on the field. They had an extra long break. Tim Sheens must have had an extra couple of words to say. Tim Mander signals the second half is underway. The Cowboys leading by 8 points, and that was taken by Peter Jones over his head. He had to take it. It would have bounced in the in-goal area, so very nearly a horrible start for the Cowboys. Jones just managing to hang on to it.
Bring it back, bring it back.
Oh, that's a great take, isn't it, from Peter Jones? Tony Lockyer will be proud of that.
Murray Hurst from the North Queensland Cowboys, assistant coach, is with us. Well, Murray, does Tim, or what exactly did he say to the boys about going on with this job?
Well, you know, obviously the job's half done, Warren, but we've got a fair concern about a few injured players, and obviously you'd understand who they were, and those are the people who played the other night.
So Owen, Cunningham, Ian Roberts, the 2 main blokes concerning you, Murray?
Absolutely. Owen and Ian. Steve Wallace won't be back either. He's done a adductor injury, so we don't expect him to be coming back at all.
Was he concerned about the amount of possession you had, and then looking at the points you've scored? Like, you've had 62% of the ball, yet you've only come up with 8 points, and you took kicks at goals on a couple of occasions. Did he want you to run the ball on those occasions?
Yeah, well, that was our plan. We've got certain areas of the field that we really are supposed to be attacking, Peter, and we haven't really enacted the plan to date. So, I suppose we've found it a bit hard to understand that we're ahead on the scoreboard, leading 8-0. But everyone's a bit surprised. But That's come about due to a few things that we have really enacted in our plan. So if we complete the plan as it is this half, we should go all right.
Okay, Murray, all the best to the boys.
Thanks, Tom.
Murray Hurst there. And just saw Steve Renouf throw a wicked pass out, put Wendell Saylor under all sorts of pressure. And now John Lomax dives forward.
No, you were there as well. And Johnny. Let it go, let it go. No, get out of it, Andrew. Andrew. Come on, John, let's go, mate.
Two old prop forwards having a bit of a set to. Andrew G and John Lomax after the penalty went against the Cowboys for stealing. 4-3 the penalties to North Queensland. We were wondering exactly who had been filling in at hooker for the Cowboys when Steve Waters was off the field, because there were some dreadful passes from dummy half. We'll just have to see who does have the job. There's Steve Waters. That's a blow, the fact that he is not coming back.
That's back.
Pass thrown back, kept alive by WEBCKE.
Roll back.
Driscoll unable to go much further. Langer. Walters inside to Ryan. Good pass, good bust. Ryan doesn't throw a silly pass. He knows they've still got tackles. Langer puts a kick through. Tony Carroll's racing after it. Phillips swoops on it, covers it well. Wrapped his body around it. Allan Langer deciding to kick it. Wasn't the last.
Yeah, it wasn't the last, but he'd run out of options. Alfie had no one out there. He puts a little kick through. And Tony Carroll just, well, he wasn't ready for it. That's why he didn't get there quick enough. But there was a big hole there.
Langer's the master of angling the kick through, and he turns his leg at all sorts of odd angles to nudge the ball through. Kyle Warren. Lazarus finally gets him to ground. Took an eternity to do it. Mahon passes very late to Warwick, and he's intercepted. His pass intercepted by Steve Renouf. So the Broncos get it back, and the Cowboys can't afford to make mistakes. Great tackle by Ian Roberts on Peter Ryan. Haven't there been some hits?
Shane WEBCKE and Ian Roberts have come up 2 pearlers each. And I tell you what, he might have lost some legs and he might have lost a little bit of pace, Ian Roberts, but one thing he can do is he can hit.
There it is, look at it. Crunch. Peter Ryan, known as a hitman himself, on the receiving end. Langer to Walters. The two evergreen partners. Always conjuring something. Not that time, though. Ian Roberts completes the tackle once more. Langer hooks the kick back towards the wing. Warwick's underneath it, can't hang on to it. Dunemaann's offside, I would have thought. Ruled a turnover.
Well, that's a strange one, Warren. We'll have a look at the replay, but I thought that was a knock-on from the North Queensland Cowboys. There's the bomb from Alf, up it goes.
Not a bad bomb.
Cowboys there, is a good bomb. I'm positive that was knocked on by the Cowboys.
In the end, Dunemann coming back may have just got himself into an onside position, but he came from offside. Jones is knocked back, just short of the 40. Lomax.
Okay, last one.
Torrid game in the forwards, this one. Ian Dunemann kicking in, it's gone too far. He's put it out on the full for the second time in the game.
Well, he's put it out on the full, Warren, I reckon by 20 metres. It didn't go anywhere near the sideline.
Well, you heard his own appraisal of the kick. 4-letter word. Pretty accurate, I think. Probably the same thing his coach said.
Timmy Sheen's been swear one.
Mundine takes off the blanket. Starts to loosen up. Ryan gets away from 2. Shrugged them off. 30 metres out. The Broncos starting to warm up. Ryan is hurt. Bad luck for Ryan, bad luck for his team. They were just starting to get in amongst the Cowboys' defence.
Well, let's have a look, see what happens. Oh, gets a knee in the head from Ian Roberts. It was accidental, of course. He's got a pretty hard head, Peter Ryan. In fact, he's got a melon like a coconut.
Fourth tackle, fellas.
That'd even hurt a coconut.
Langer goes wide. Walters keeps it going. Lockyer's on the outside of it. Cuts through. 15 out. Lockyer stepping. Can he get there? Yes! Darren Lockyer does it all himself. All he was thinking about at the death was trying to pass, and he realised that the line was just within reach. And down went the ball. So the Broncos score their first try. They're on the board. They're down 8-4.
Yeah, great little set play from the Broncos. Big Lazo running a dummy there. And it was Kyle Warren that was caught out. Darren Lockyer getting on his outside, just showing great pace, and in the end, great determination to get over the line. What's this long ball? There it is. Kyle Warren's the man caught out. He really had no idea what was going on then. Darren Lockyer got on his outside before he got the football, and Kevin Walters put the ball right on the spot. We've seen that with Kevin Walters and Steve RENOUF over the last 4 or 5 years. This time it was Darren Lockyer, the brilliant young fullback from the Broncos. Touchdown. It was always going to happen. He put that back to the mistake by Adam Warwick when he tried to force that ball about the 40-metre line, turned it over in Brisbane on the back of a bit of possession and the back of a bit of field position. They'll always score tries, simple as that.
Yeah, the fullback unable to stop the progress of Lockyer at all. DUNEMANN tackling from behind. Now Lockyer. These kicks are going to be important today. And this is a good one from Darren Lockyer. Threads it through. 8-6, North Queensland leading the Broncos 9 minutes into the second half. Just what the Broncos wanted, though.
As I said, this is a play that's been perfected by Steve RENOUF and Kevin Walters for many years now. It basically is a matter of the player receiving the ball, running an outside line, trying to get on the outside of the defender before he gets the ball, and then Kevin shoots the pass right into the breadbasket, and that's what happened on that occasion. Kyle Warren caught grasping at thin air. Darren Lockyer, great try.
And Jacko, is a trend that's becoming more and more prevalent with the Broncos. As you say, in the past it would have almost been exclusively Walters to RENOUF. Well, Darren Lockyer is quite often the target now as they spread the ball across the back line, and he really is maturing into a great player.
Yeah, he will be a great player, Darren Lockyer. He's got all the skills, he's got great footwork, got a tremendous kick on him. He kicks the ball 60 metres. There's the offside there. Tim Mander pulling out the Broncos. They won't be happy with that, but yeah, he's got all the skills, Darren Lockyer. He's got a tremendous attitude. And plenty of great young players up here at Brisbane. They just recruit so well. Cyril Conlon, their recruiting manager, just does a great job. How many good young Queenslanders slip out of their grasp? I'll give you the tip.
The Cowboys with the ball 40 metres out from the Broncos line as Luke Scott goes up the middle. It's interesting that Reggie CRESSBROOK is playing on the right wing and Adam Warwick is playing fullback. He was the man who was unable to get any shoulder into the tackle on Lockyer. Couldn't stop his progress. Jones on the inside, almost working it through. Last tackle coming up. Andrew DUNEMANN. CRESSBROOK looked as if he was just offside. He's up for this ball among the Broncos. Comes back towards the Cowboys. Still play on. 6 more. 6 more as Luke Scott plays it 5 metres out. CRESSBROOK can't break through Andrew G. Scott Mahon dummy half. Gets it out to Ian DUNEMANN. On to Peter Jones. Can't break through. Langer and Ryan the tacklers, but the Broncos still right on their line here. LOMAX with numbers. Kyle Warren hammered back to ground. Good tackle by CARROLL and THORN. Out and out to DUNEMANN. The Broncos sliding across. The Cowboys have men stretched to the touchline on the right.
Stand up, stand up.
You can see that Sailor's still 15 metres away from the touchline as Luke Scott goes himself 3 metres out. To the right it goes. DUNEMANN tries to put the kick through. Rebound. RENOUF is racing. Ian Roberts is the closest man. They're trying to come from the far side. RENOUF over the 30. Roberts can't go with him. PHILLIPS is desperately chasing, but Steve RENOUF with the rebound on the kick runs 90 metres. And when Steve RENOUF looked up and saw that Ian Roberts was closest, he must have felt like putting his house on the fact he would score the try. The Broncos go to the front. It's 10-8 in favour of Brisbane.
Well, a little bit unlucky, you've got to say that. Steve RENOUF plays at the ball with his foot, does the right thing there, picks it up. As you said, Ian Roberts was the only man in sight and he had no chance. I'd have a better chance of catching Steve RENOUF, or you'd have a better chance, Warren, than Ian Roberts was, and there he goes, run 60, 70 metres to score the try. It's one of the great sights in rugby league. The Pearl, Steve Renouf at full flight. There it is there, plays at the ball with his foot, comes up with a result, and that was always going to be a try. In fact, he's just coasting, isn't he? He saw it was Ian Roberts and he knew there'd be no drama there, so he just puts it back a gear and rolls over to score the try.
Luke Phillips trying to dislodge the ball. Great try to Steve Renouf. Great in terms of watching him run. There wasn't a whole lot of execution on the part of the Broncos. 10-8 in favour of Brisbane. Mundine on. Well, he'll be raring to go. He won't want to spend another week on the bench. Darren Lockyer has the ball placed 30 metres in from touch. Brings it around, waved away. But the Broncos are in front for the first time in the game. There's 27 minutes to go.
And Warren Anthony Mundine has come on the field for Tony Carroll. That will be a permanent replacement, as will John Plath coming on for John Driscoll.
John Plath, very much the utility super sub for the Broncos. Driscoll's had a good game. Tony Carroll's played well. But it's Anthony Mundine with a chance now. Phillips takes it deep and wide in his in-goal area. Mark Shipway, tackled by Mundine. His first touch since round one. He was injured in his first match for the Broncos against Auckland here at ANZ Stadium. It's been a long time out of the game for Mundine. LOMAX dumbing towards Jones. The Broncos didn't fall for it. WEBCKE and Plath tackling. Roberts is still going strong. They might be feeling the pinch after that 90-metre sprint. DUNEMANN under pressure from THORN. The DUNEMANN brothers have copped a few as they've got kicks away today. Legally. Lockyer steps beautifully. He made Warwick miss. Langer gets back onside. Walters. Mundine backing Kevin Walters up on the inside. Saylor is on his left. Darren Smith. Well, this is crunch time now for the Cowboys. They've let the Broncos off the hook with 2 tries. Can they dig deep? Tim Sheen's starting to pray, hoping that the qualities he's trying to instill in this side, the fighting qualities are there. Because they still must believe that they are in this game. The Broncos must be weary. Walters, Mundine gets away from DUNEMANN, still going, dancing. 40 metres out. 5th tackle. Langer. Oh, Renouf was virtually tackled before the ball arrived. Pass should never have been thrown. So the Cowboys have it. Shipway. Grabbed by the jersey by Walters. TALLIS helps out. Possession still favouring North Queensland. Brisbane still spending more time in their own half, but it's gradually evening up since half time. Shipway almost forces his way through, trying to fend off Mundine. Jones very nearly knocking on at dummy half. Warren. Tackled by Smith and Langer. Langer making a mountain of tackles as usual. The kick ahead from DUNEMANN. CRESSBROOK coming through quickly on Lockyer, and Lockyer just gets there in time. Dives back into the field of play. Good football by Lockyer. And a useful kick by the Cowboys.
Yeah, great little kick by the Cowboys. Obviously looking to trap Darren Lockyer in the in-goal area, but couldn't come up with the right play. There it is there. Beautifully weighted, just dribbling into the in-goal area. But he does some great stuff, young Darren Lockyer, to get out into the field of play.
Tim Sheen still keeping Tyron Smith fresh on the bench. New Zealand international. TALLIS tries to batter it out of his own 20. Broncos don't want to make a mistake here. Ryan running strongly. Stepping, getting those knees pumping. Langer kicks downfield. Smith giving chase. CRESSBROOK underneath it. Took it well. Looking into the sun. Judged it beautifully. Warwick. John Plath down there with a tackle. 10 metres their own side of halfway. North Queensland with Peter Jones. 23 minutes to go. 2 points in it. Still a variety of players getting into dummy half. Andrew DUNEMANN at the moment it is. Ian DUNEMANN. LOMAX. There's a hole there for Cunningham. That's half a hole. Almost opened up. It's a nice little play by the Cowboys, working back inside, trying to find a hole up the middle of the Broncos' ruck. Here's LOMAX doing it one out this time and very nearly doing it all himself. Jones puts the kick through. Hancock has to turn. Lockyer knocks it on, and PHILLIPS was right there waiting. A very useful kick, bouncing awkwardly for Lockyer. Grubbering along the ground from Jones.
Yeah, he's disappointed with that. He just didn't get to it on the right bounce. Tried to take it on the half volley, and in the end he comes up with the drop ball. There it is, just rolling through. Just tries to get it as it was on the downward spiral, I suppose you'd say, and comes up with a mistake, and he knows how important that one was. They get another set of 6 now, the Cowboys. They've really got to come up some points here.
From this position on the field, great opportunity for the Cowboys. Peter Jones tackled 9 metres out. All of the Cowboys in centre field. There's no one wide. Scott bumped to ground. Front rowers, Lazarus and G, the tacklers. DUNEMANN. Murphy backs into Langer.
Come on, let's go.
Cowboys try to get back into a good attacking formation. LOMAX it is. They don't seem to know where they're going though. Flicks it out the back. Cunningham tackle. Still 9 metres out. And Kyle Warren loses it. Towed ahead by Mahon, but it'll be called back.
Great opportunity gone for the Cowboys there. 4 tackle knock on, as you heard Tim Mander say. And they're just lacking a bit of penetration, the Cowboys, lacking a bit of class. There it is there. Can't come up with it. Scotty Mahon kick, puts it on the toe, but it's all too late. Went forward.
They just weren't going anywhere in that set of 6. That was a real waste. I think on the second tackle, they seemed to run the wrong way, and that put them right out of sync for the rest of the 6.
Come back, come on.
Kevin Walters, that little swerve of his, tries to get on the outside of his man. Well tackled by Peter Jones. THORN.
That's 3, roll off.
Tallest man on the field. He'd just about go eye to eye with Ian Roberts. Back it comes to Lockyer, to Saylor. Lazarus it was who unloaded. Darren Smith back to Lockyer. He drops it. Still going. They're just off their game, that touched the Broncos. Everything's not quite sharp as Kevin Walters swivels into open space. Passes aren't quite finding their mark, but they're still dangerous every time they have it. TALLIS opens them up for Steve RENOUF. Warwick slows him down a little. Trouble here for Mahon. Oh, what a tackle. He just dived. Hoped he'd hit him somewhere. RENOUF's still going, but Mahon did save a try. He probably doesn't really know how he did it. RENOUF hurt. Langer kicks right across field. Here comes Hancock. Hancock and PHILLIPS. He put it down.
Over here.
In fact, there was Peter Jones out there. Michael Hancock, it did sail into his hands.
Yeah, okay.
There it is, Gordy TALLIS. I thought he went the wrong way then. But no, he did. Steve RENOUF breaking through tackle. That's a great tackle from Scott Mahon. Real kamikaze stuff. Here it goes, a beautiful kick from Alf. And it goes into Mickey Hancock's hands, but it deflected off Jones. Made it a little bit difficult. Comes up the drop, no try.
It was a tough one for Hancock. You've got to give Jones credit. He did stay out there. A lot of time when the play goes to the far side of the field, everyone forgets. And the Broncos, one team like Cronulla, who just love to kick across the field to the far wing. At least Jones stood his ground awake to the tactic.
Come over, come over.
Cowboys just short of halfway. Down by 2 points. Everyone probably expecting that the Broncos, once they get ahead here, as they have, will go on with it, but All the Cowboys need to do is ambush them with one try, and it'll be a hell for leather finish.
Warren, you get the feeling that Tim Sheens is waiting and just being very patient at the moment. Well, there's still over 18 minutes left. He hasn't used either of his permanent replacements, but Tyron Smith, Dion Cope, John Scarden are all up and bring up at the moment. Maybe Tim Sheens is hoping that his side can stay within 2 points and make a real surge in the last 10 here with the Broncos tiring noticeably.
Well, that's the big call for the coaches these days, is when to use their replacements. There's not a lot otherwise they can do about what's happening on the field. They try to do that during the week, but on the day it's the use of interchange and replacements. Here's John Plath out of dummy half, putting the pedal down, couldn't get through. Tackled by Warren. Lazarus, quick hands to Saylor, nicely done. Darren Smith was coming just a little too late. Saylor knew that he was coming. 38 metres out in centre field, the Broncos. Kevin Walters quickly onto TALLIS. They're still hammering away, the Broncos. The Cowboys' defence tackling grimly. Mundine giving some room to scoot. On the last now, the Brisbane Broncos. Inside from Langer to Walters. Walters up to the 20. I think they came off the boot forward, but the Cowboys have got it.
They're blowing up. They thought it was a knock on by the Cowboys, but once again on the 5th tackle, Alfred Kevin Wallace deciding to run the ball. Here goes Kev now, tries to put the little kick through. It comes off CRESSBROOK, and there's the appeal for the knock on off John LOMAX, but I think it came off his legs. So play on, a good call from Tim Mander.
Kevin Walters ended up drop kicking that one. Jones still fighting to get free of the tackle. Play swinging either side of the halfway now.
He's given him a chance, Tim Mander, isn't he?
Well, he's come back
on the 4th tackle.
And came back to the right side of the field as the Cowboys went left. Some referees would let that go. Anxious look on the face of Wayne Bennett. He knows this is a big 6 for North Queensland. LOMAX getting a pass away. The squeeze through the hole was Warwick, the fullback. Tyron Smith is on. There he goes. He could really be a weapon in this last section of the game. Murphy has worked hard. Near the posts, the Broncos backs to the wall defence now. Cunningham throws the dummy, looks for the try line. Owen Cunningham close.
Right there. Stand up.
Desperate for victory here. Broncos come up off their line. Out it goes to Shipway. Mundine moved quickly away from the line. Still only 4 metres out. Last tackle now. Ian DUNEMANN puts it cross field. Not far forward. Smith is up there. Warren's there too.
Okay.
But Broncos somehow come up with it.
Lost the ball forward.
Reggie CRESSBROOK flew high, got that ball, and then tried to throw it up. Well, it was a speculator. I mean, he had to try it. There's the kick. It wasn't quite deep enough. It wasn't Reggie CRESSBROOK. It was Warren that went high and tries to get out a spectator at the death, which didn't come off.
He had it for a moment. Just couldn't control it. Plenty of traffic. The Broncos trying to get it out of their own half. Hancock bumps off Andrew DUNEMANN. Langer. Short passes for Ryan. Beautiful pass from Langer. Ryan gallops away. Darren Smith now onto LOCKYER. Good hands. Elusive running. Beautiful pass to Mundine. Stepping. On it goes to LOCKYER. Where's the support? It'll be a great try if they keep it alive. Last tackle coming up. Out now to Mundine. Walters inside basketball to Andrew G. 10 metres out. He kicks ahead. And CRESSBROOK is back there coming across from the wing.
Well, isn't that the Brisbane Broncos at their absolute best? Throwing the ball around with gay abandon. There's a drop ball in there.
No, caught it, lost the ball in the tackle.
Yeah, he did. I thought he was going to penalise the Broncos then. The Broncos will get the ball back, but that was fantastic play.
Lost the ball in the tackle.
Kyle Warren is hurt. This is great football.
Yeah, beautiful little pass from Alfred Peter Ryan through that hole. He does the right thing, turns it back on the inside to Smithy, gets it back to Darren LOCKYER, and LOCKYER throws a speculator here to Anthony Mundine. He keeps it alive as well. to Darren Lockyer, who finally is pulled down in the tackle. And then unfortunately it was the 5th tackle for the Broncos. So they had to get a little bit desperate, and in the end Andrew G found a hole but had to put a kick in. Some bloke, Cole Warren, he's not feeling too well at the moment.
Warren's not feeling too well, and Tim Sheens may not be either, because this scrum, presuming the Broncos have got the scrum feed, could be a killer scrum deciding this game. The Broncos, if they win it 10 metres out.
What do you reckon they'll do from this scrum, Warren? I reckon Alfie will dummy to go to the open. Darren Smith will pick it up and go left.
Hang on.
With Pearl, Steve Renouf and Wendell Saylor.
I haven't got the faintest idea. Renouf on the left, Lockyer and Walters and Mundine on the right. The scrum's centre field. Say it one more time. You're saying they're going to run to the left because that's where they haven't got the players?
I'll say they'll go to the left. I'll say Alfie will take off from the base and Darren Smith will pick it up from that lock.
I reckon it's a real good call. Peter Jones and Reggie CRESSBROOK better be on their toes because they're in defence. There it is, the jackpot to Jacko. Bad pass though comes out to Wendell Saylor. Darren Smith didn't actually run anywhere, but they went that way. Walters back to Saylor. Stepping well. Mundine. They've lost 10 metres. They've run from one side of the field to the other. The Cowboys wouldn't take any comfort from that though. Hancock. Now that is one player who runs from one side of the field to the other.
Well, he doesn't know where he's going, Mick. How does he expect anyone else to know where he's going?
He wouldn't make a rally navigator. Walters. Thorn from 20 out. The big fend. And through he goes. Finishes it off. Running like a centre three-quarter. The big front row comes second rower. And that is the all-important try. 14 points to 8 in favour of Brisbane with a kick to come and only 12 minutes to go.
Well, here it is again. Kevin Wilder's involved. And once again throwing that long pass, running on the angle. Brad Thorn just gets the fed out on Peter Jones. Pretty ordinary attempt to tackle by Jones. He knows that. In fact, a real ordinary attempt. Did go in with his shoulder, just went for an arm grab. And big Brad Thorn gets it, don't argue, out right in the mush. And he goes in for a pretty soft try. Tim Sheen defended pretty well all game.
I think Peter Jones was keeping half an eye on Smith on the inside. He was waiting and waiting, and in the end he left Thorn just too long. And he couldn't put any sort of impact into the tackle.
Once he gets his arms out, Brad Thorn, I mean, his arm would be, I reckon it'd probably be 4 feet, metre and a half long. So it's pretty hard to get a hold of get a shoulder in there when you've got a big hand.
Important kick this one to make the Broncos safe. As coming around, it's through from Darren Lockyer. So as they go to a 16-8 lead, you would think the Brisbane Broncos should be good enough with 11 minutes to take this one home.
Well, here it is again. Let's see if you're right, Warren. Was he having a look on the inside? Well, I think he was. He was weighing up his options, Peter Jones, and then, well, you can't do it against a bloke the size of Brad Thorn that close to the line. You just got to go in and do your best. Let your teammates look after the inside and outside runners.
You'd think that the Cowboys would have seen Darren Smith creating havoc this season, running into those sort of positions. Suddenly Brad Thorn pops up out there, and he was the perfect option for the Broncos. Scott tries to clear it away. The Cowboys have just been shown up. They just don't have those attacking options all over the field that the Broncos do. Really every player in the Broncos can score a try. LOMAX has worked hard today.
Stand up, John. Let's go, Alf.
Now Tyron Smith thrown into the game late. Gets a good pass away to Cunningham.
Okay, last one. All that cross.
Now you start to wonder why Tyron Smith was put into the game so late. Jones loses the ball and TALLIS has got it for the Broncos. And what about Wayne Bennett? He's got to pick a team next week. Who does he pick in the centres? CARROLL, RENOUF or Mundine?
Are you asking me who I'd pick?
Yeah, well, it's a tough decision, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'd go with Tony CARROLL and Steve Renouf. And Anthony Mundine, give him another week on the bench. And
you think that?
I think Wayne Bennett, he'll show faith in the players that have done it for him in the last 10 weeks. And Tony CARROLL, put it quite simply, I thought he had a good game today. He goes to Pearl again. he's had a good game today and he's been in great form. So
just tackled in time by Shane Vincent, who's out there now for the Cowboys. Kick across field, taken casually by Warwick, looks confident.
Okay, that's 0.
False confidence in one way. He knew there were 3 Broncos coming through and there was very little he could do about it. Yeah, it's a fair attitude by the coach to make you earn a position in first grade just because you have the reputation of being a brilliant player as Anthony Mundine has. No reason you should walk back into a side when the blokes in front of you are playing brilliantly and have established themselves at representative level. Vincent to play it. Been through a few clubs, Shane Vincent. Playing fullback in reserve grade. Getting his chance off the bench in this game, but only late. Ian DUNEMANN chased down by Brad Thorn and Shane WEBCKE. The 2 big men put the pressure on him, and that's a good kick. Just goes touching goal.
Make sure they're all onside, Al. Way up here offside. Johnny.
Very nearly a perfect kick. Referee making sure all the Broncos get back behind the tap.
that's a big kick, isn't it, Warren? Good 60 metres in that one.
Under pressure to get the accuracy as well.
Just dribbles over the touch and goal. Here's Johnny Plath.
And he's away, John Platt. 30 metres out. I don't think he'll get him. Giving it plenty of chases. Owen Cunningham. Johnny Platt scores for the Broncos. And he'll be very pleased with that in this star-studded Broncos side. Platt, the man who always has to come off the bench. They give him a lot of satisfaction to score a good try like that, running from his own side of halfway.
He's a good player, there's no doubting that, Johnny Plath. Just throws the dummy. Gorden TALLIS is the man coming through on the decoy. Finds a massive hole up the centre of the Cowboys' defence. And away he goes, Plathie, Johnny Plath, the super sub, over in the corner. A great try to the young fella. Well, he's not so young anymore. He's probably about 28 now.
And he's gone 70 metres here.
Yeah, that's a great try. As I said, most other clubs, this bloke could be in first grade. He's elected to stay at the Brisbane Broncos and come off the bench for whatever reasons. Personally, I wouldn't be doing that, but he's done it. And he keeps coming on and coming up with tries and, you know, in important plays. And he's just the perfect bloke to bring off the bench, Johnny Plath. He does it so well. He never gets dirty about it. He's happy as Larry. He's a good fella. Got a great attitude. Loves the club. And he'll go down as one of the... Well, he won't go down as one of the great Bronco players, but he'll certainly go down as one of the great club men that they've had in their history.
Just looking at last year, he had 2 run-on games and 14 subs off the bench. Yet, as I'm sure you would agree, as you just said, could play first grade in most clubs in a number of different positions.
Yeah, he plays halfback, he plays lock, he plays hooker, he plays 5'8", and does a good job at them all too, Warren. So he's elected to stay for whatever reasons. He goes down, Lockyer moves in now from the sideline, hits it, and that'll be out to the left. So 20 points to 8, the Broncos lead, 6.5 minutes remaining.
They were down 8-0 at half-time. They've scored 20 unanswered points in the second half, the Broncos. Plath, beautiful anticipation. They realised the markers had gone. A bit of a grab there from Adam Warwick at fullback. He won't be proud of that tackle. But Plath was showing the pace that was just beating him. Fullback was grabbing because he was finding Plath running away from him.
A great chase from Mahon Cunningham.
Yeah, his legs must be like blocks of lead. He still lifted them there to sprint to the corner.
Oh, gutsy player, mate. Gutsy player. One of the gutsiest players you'd ever want to see run on a football paddock.
Peter, Adam Warwick missed that tackle coming across in cover, but really the tackle should have been made first up as the restart is kicked out on the full, so it will be a penalty to the Cowboys from the middle of the halfway line. The Broncos at half-time, being down by 8 points, were probably entitled to turn it up after such a hectic schedule in the last 2 or 3 weeks with the try series, but it really has been the Cowboys who've tied here in the last 15 minutes especially.
I think once they got behind, Warren, they haven't. You couldn't say they've dropped their bundle, but the sting in their game's gone out, particularly in attack. They just looked a beaten side, didn't they?
Well, they have in the last 15 minutes, and every time they get inside the Broncos' red zone, it's almost Exhibit A to show you the difference between the top sides and the bottom sides. They really haven't had many options in attack at all.
Yeah, it's exactly right, Warren. And I mean, the Cowboys went in at 8-0 on the back of 62% of the possession, and that's an unrealistic situation to be in. That won't happen very often. Broncos have come back. They've got a bit of possession in the second half, and the Lockyers and the RENOUFs and the Thorns and the Plaths have done the job for them.
Well, the Broncos forced to tackle now after Darren Lockyer restarted out on the full. Murphy takes on Plath. Plath and G squash him on the ground, 12 metres out. DUNEMANN dummy half. Jones, Ian DUNEMANN, Lomax, complicated move. Finally it goes to Tyron Smith. The Broncos just stood and waited, read it well. Fifth tackle, kick ahead from Vincent. Lockyer flying through the air. Out off Lockyer. So it will be a Cowboys scrum feed.
Well, they're frustrated, aren't they, the Cowboys? They can't get through the defence. They just haven't got the attacking weapons. They put up the kick. Wendell and Darren Lockyer both contest that one and goes out over the sideline. So they'll get another chance before full time. The Cowboys just stick a 6-pointer on, but really it won't make much difference now. The game's been won by the Brisbane Broncos.
What can they do in this set of 6? Pull out their best move. Shane Vincent runs wide, chased by Mundine. Vincent, who played with Parramatta, Penrith and Newcastle, missed last year with a shoulder injury, joined North Queensland this year. Given another chance, making the most of these last few minutes in this game. Ian DUNEMANN looking for the runner, which was Cunningham, but there was plenty of defence there. Slow play the ball. Murphy hits it up.
Been impressed with him, Warren. Glen Murphy had a good game, hasn't he?
He's worked hard. Good pass from Jones. Shipway twisting towards the line. Over he goes. Has he got it down? Video referee will decide whether Mark Shipway has forced it. Lovely pass from Peter Jones, firing it across the face of a couple of runners.
Well, here he is now. Here's the replay. Does he get it down? He hasn't at this stage. Well, it looks to me, yeah, that's a try. No problem. No problem at all, Mark Shipway. Shows great strength and determination to burrow over here. Wrestling.
G tried to get his arm under it.
No, that's a try.
So we'll wait for the decision on the big screen to confirm. And with 3 minutes left, if they can convert this try, we've still got a possibility of a draw in our hands. There it is. It's a try to the Cowboys, to Mark Shipway. So they were able to get a try out of that set of 6 from the scrum.
Yeah, beautiful ball from Peter Jones. A good decoy from John Lomax. Just sucked one of the Anthony Mundine, it was, sucked him out of the defensive line, left the hole there for Shipway, and he wrestles and burrows and screams and does everything he has to get over the line, and finally he does get it down. 1, 2, 3 blokes hanging all over him, and he was determined to score a 4-pointer, and he does so.
Now, can Luke Phillips give us a cliffhanger finish? If he can put this over, the Cowboys move to within 6 points. It's a difficult one. 8 metres in from touch. Looks pretty good from the boot. Coming around, flags are up. 20 points to 14 to the Broncos. 2 minutes 16 seconds to go. The Cowboys will restart play. Should they do a short kickoff?
I think you've just about got to, haven't you? You can't rely on a mistake from the Broncos. There's Shipway throwing that try again.
The Broncos calling their players up, otherwise they'd be standing deeper, but they realise the danger. Andrew DUNEMANN with the rugby-style kickoff. Phillips goes up, knocks it back, play on. Away it comes from Shipway to Jones. Over the top to DUNEMANN. They don't have to panic. Still 1 minute 40 on the clock. They've got 30 metres to go. The Broncos have to tackle to get 1 point now, or to stop reducing it down to 1 point. DUNEMANN, Cunningham, Tyron Smith is only 10 metres out. Gets even closer than that. The Broncos weary, suddenly forced to work for the victory. Peter Jones back inside nicely. Good football. DUNEMANN couldn't get it away. 10 out. Andrew DUNEMANN back in the direction of Lomax. Warwick should have kept the ball going. He could have got the pass away. Last tackle now. They go right. Peter Jones puts it up, straight up in the air. They need it back. A chance here for the Cowboys. It looks like a onside the sticks. The conversion should be an easy one if the try is awarded.
This is incredible, Warren. The Broncos had this game won. They were home, watching it on television, saying, how good did we play in the second half? Have a look at this. The kick goes up. It was a pretty ordinary one. Does he get the ball down? It goes on someone's head there. Well, he's got that down. That's a try. No doubt about that at all, Warren Boland.
Ian DUNEMANN, the scorer.
There he is. Ian DUNEMANN picks up the ball after that kick went up from Peter Jones. It lands on Andrew G's head, but he's definitely got that down. And they'll get out of this with a draw. This is incredible stuff. The Broncos will be absolutely filthy. They had this game in the bag. They relaxed for a minute. The short kick-off, they got the ball back, did everything right. Here it comes now up on the big screen. Try!
So a few people in the crowd get up and scream. Most of the crowd stunned. Some people have travelled here from North Queensland for the match. Maybe a few relatives of players. But the Broncos stunned. 4 minutes to go. They led by 12 points. Now, PHILLIPS has to land this goal to make it a draw. Right in front. And it's between the posts. And North Queensland pluck a draw out of the air against the Broncos. Mind you, there's 45 seconds to go. The Broncos might get the ball here, back again.
Well, here it is here, fifth and last. Peter Jones runs out of options, puts up, well, it's got to be the, there it is, full time. It's got to be the lowest bomb you've ever seen. But DUNEMANN does the rest. They went to sleep, the Broncos, didn't they? They were dozing off. They were at home watching it on television, reading about it in the newspaper. And the Cowboys had other thoughts. They came back strongly. The short kickoff was a beauty. The tactic was spot on. And they finally come up with the try in dying seconds. That's one of the most incredible things I've seen. 2 tries in 4 minutes to get back in and snavel a draw.
You can't believe that so much has happened in so short a time. The Broncos are scratching their heads. They were down 8-0 at half-time. Then they scored 20 points to lead 20-8. And then at the last 4 minutes of the game, they've conceded 2 converted tries, and it's 20 all. What a remarkable game of football. The Broncos always looking the more dangerous team, but in the first half making a few errors. Look at this grin on Ian Roberts' face. Why not? Taking a point from the competition-leading Brisbane Broncos, who've only lost 1 game all season, suddenly North Queensland, and that is an all-important point because they're trying to stay in touch with the top 5, who were 3 points ahead of them. So that 1 point may very well keep them in contention for the semi-finals.
And a second draw in a row too, Warren. In their last game they did draw with the Adelaide Rams. Anyway, down on the sideline now we have Warren Smith, and I believe he's with Glen Lazarus.
I am certainly Peter Jackson. Glen Lazarus, what an unbelievable finish to that game.
Yeah, well, it was quite unbelievable, but I think it probably typified the way the Broncos are feeling at the moment. We're a very tired side. We would have been absolutely over the moon to get away with the win, but to take a point away after only playing some 5 or 6 days after that Tri-Series game, we'll take that and regroup and hopefully be nice and fresh for the Mariners Friday night.
It certainly wasn't the same Broncos outfit we've seen in the competition so far. You were very lacklustre in that first 40 minutes, no doubt about it.
Yeah, we start to worry a bit when Wendell starts ball playing as much as what he did, but look, it's just hard to put into words just how much football we've played over the last couple of weeks, and full credit to the Cowboys. They knew they had us at a vulnerable sort of stage in the year, and Tim Sheen's obviously knew that as well, and look, you know, they played very well. We can't take anything away from them, but we are a tight football side at the minute.
Given the workload you've had, it's a game you could have easily lost, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, 8-0 down half-time. We could have just sort of thought, oh, we can afford to lose this game. We're 6 points clear, and just sort of packed up shop. But full credit to us too, of course. You know, we got back to lead the game, but yeah, they came back fairly strong, and 20-all draw. Well, I think it probably both sides deserve the point today.
Well, the Mariners next week at Breaker Stadium, they've shown there they are a tough side at home.
Very much so. They're probably a side that a lot of people have underrated, and of course had their bums smacked. And look, they're going to be very tough down there. They'll be ready for us, as is every other side we play, and we've just got to regroup now. We've got about 5 days to get ready, so we'll hopefully get ready and take on the Mariners.
Well, you won't be happy with the draw, but well played in the last week.
Thanks very much, mate.
Thanks, Glen. We're back up to you boys upstairs.
Glen Lazarus, and the players are staying on the field because the inaugural 4X Cup is going to be presented. It's going to be fought every time the Broncos play North Queensland and all Queensland affairs, so for the 4X Cup. But the Bronco players who played last Monday night must feel like they've lost here, not got a draw, whereas Glen Lazarus, who tasted victory the other night, probably celebrating 1 point. Back to Warren Smith.
Well, I've got John Lomax and Andrew DUNEMANN with me. John, first up, tell me about the last 4 minutes. You guys down by 2 converted tries. You come away with a point.
Yeah, I suppose we caught them in a bit of a situation. You know, there's a majority of them have played backed up after a few tough games in the Tri Series. You know, so it was a good effort by our fellas. You know, we really kept in it, and you know, we put a lot of pressure on them in the first half, and we thought that it'd tell a little bit later. You know, as it was, we didn't think we'd, you know, I suppose come away with a victory right at the end. But you know, we're all too happy to take a point out of this victory.
You could well have hung it up and just said, well, we're not going to win this. Well, let's just go around and play out the last 4 minutes.
Well, it was a goal that we set down during the week. You know, we wanted to pretty much contest the whole 80 minutes. You know, we didn't want to go out there for 60 minutes and then let them run away with 20 points, because we know that they can rack up after, you know, 15 minutes they can rack up 30 points. You know, so it was a situation where we caught them when they were a little bit tired, and you know, our boys put in an extra great effort. You know, so we were all too happy with that.
Well, Andrew, there didn't seem to be too many options in attack early on there, but doesn't matter how you score them as long as you do score them.
Yeah, we're probably a bit disjointed in attack. All week we focused probably more on defence to try, and our aim was try to keep below 12 points. We didn't do that, but we come away with the points, so that's the main thing, I suppose.
Well, after containing them in the first half, they really came out with a couple of quick tries in the second half, and that put you back on your heels.
Yeah, it put us back on our heels. It's a bit disappointing because at training all week we practiced them little kicks and we try and get them through, and it went straight into Steve RENOUF, and that put them back in front. But to our credit, like in previous years, we probably would have thrown the towel in them, but we kept on going and we got the 2 tries towards the end.
Well, the good news is the point, of course, does give you some hope still of making the top 5.
Yeah, well, our aim is to make the top 5. We're hoping to get 2 today, but we'll settle for 1.
All right, congratulations on the point.
Thanks.
All right, back up to you boys upstairs.
Thanks, Warren Smith. Good point made by Andrew DUNEMANN that the Broncos did have a bit of luck in the rebound when RENOUF scored. So it was just one of those games. It was an unusual game of football.
He did, but in saying that, Steve RENOUF played at the ball. I mean, he didn't ricochet off his shins or anything. He played at the ball. There he is there, Steve RENOUF, and he'd be a little bit tired. 2 games in 6 days and 2 tough ones as well.
Coming back from injury.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys played pretty well, there's no doubt. And in fact, I think probably, you know, for 50 minutes of the match, they were the better side. But you know, when you look at the Hollis Bowls thing, it's an 80-minute game, and they dropped off there for 30 minutes, and the Broncos racked up 20 points. But full credit to the Cowboys, they didn't throw it in. They came up with the right plays at the right time and got away with the draw, and they'll be happy with that.
So the team at the top of the ladder and the team one off the bottom of the ladder play a 20-all draw here at ANZ Stadium. We'll see you again next week with more Super League. Back now to Cameron Williams.
Thanks very much, Warren Boland. And Steve Mortimer, doesn't that just go to show how even the competition is? Because after 11 rounds, almost every team in the competition would give themselves a chance of making the finals. I guess Auckland is the only one we'd be prepared to write off on just 6 points.
Yeah, very much so. Like, obviously they must have taken those Winston Churchill brave words, never give in, never give in, never give in. But they played really well. Just one thing about the Cowboys, they do lack flair up around that try line area, but they hung in there. They